Hey there, and welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. It's your girl Rashida, and I am always excited to bring you a new video. Today I'm going back to basics, and I'm going to show my beginning cooks how to make traditional spaghetti. That's what we're making today. Spaghetti, however you like to pronounce it. That's what we're making. So let's start cooking. Few simple ingredients. I'm using ground beef. I have my pasta. I'm doing an onion, red pepper, the sauce, just a jar sauce, a little bit of garlic, basil, some seasonings. The first things first, I'm going to go ahead and dice up my red pepper, onion, and garlic. Now, if you don't like peppers, onions, and garlic by all means leave them out. Just add in a little extra flavor. And I'm going to chop them, dice them pretty fine, not too big, so you really don't taste them in the sauce. But I'm adding in about a half a cup of red pepper, onion, and about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic. So that's how we're going to get started. Now, while you're watching me dice these up, let's just talk about spaghetti. Spaghetti is so versatile. It is so versatile. That means you can make it however you want to make it. Whatever you like, whatever jar we're using jar sauce. So first of all, that's easy. So whatever is your favorite pasta sauce in the store, please use that. You can definitely make your sauce from scratch. I do know how to do that, but we're keeping it simplified today. But making jar pasta sauce is very easy. Very, very easy. And it tastes really good. So right here you see that I diced up everything. But talking about that versatility real quick, you don't have to use ground beef. You can use ground turkey. You can use ground chicken. You definitely can put it in some Italian sausage. So you can definitely play around with your meats. Or you could just do veggies and pasta if you want. Definitely you can leave out onions, pepper, garlic. You don't have to add any of that. Um, so that's why I say it's versatile. You could throw in some spinach for a little extra healthiness. So everything is almost chopped up right here. And then we're on to the next step. Another thing about spaghetti, it's a quick meal. You can make it any day of the week, less than an hour. Dinner should be served. So spaghetti is very quick. Not very quick, but for a whole meal. And lastly, it feeds a lot of people. So you have plenty of servings and you have some leftovers. And lastly, it's just a great family meal. You definitely make enough. You have leftovers the next day, depending on the size of your family. So it's just a great family meal to make. All right, first I'm sauteing my peppers, onions, and garlic, just in about a teaspoon or so of olive oil in my Dutch oven. And I'm just going to saute these for about a minute or two, not too long, because you'll see I'll add the ground beef next, and they'll continue to cook with the ground beef. They'll continue to cook with the sauce. So we're just sauteing our onions, peppers, and garlic just to get out some of those flavors. Next up, we're going to go ahead and add the ground beef. I'm using an 85% here. You can use a leaner cut of meat. You can use that 90 or 93. I find that a little fat is just good for the flavor. It just helps to add more flavor. The leaner it is, kind of the drier it is, but healthier it is. So any type of ground beef that you like to use, um, go ahead and use that. One thing you'll see me do is I'm going to drain the fat or the oil that renders off of this meat. I'm going to drain it off the meat is once the meat is cooked. Okay, so because this video is for my beginning cooks, if you just starting off, if you just need a basic meal to make, this is going to be your meal. And I'm going to let you watch the steps. So right here, I'm grounding the beef. So that means I'm going to mix it up. As you see, I'm using a spatula. Every few minutes, I'm going to go in and continue to turn the meat with the onions, peppers, and I'm going to just continue to mix it or ground it up until it's completely done. So I'm going to let you just watch the process. And this takes probably about, I would say about 10 minutes to fully cook your meat. As I'm cooking, I want to go ahead and add in my seasonings. And this is just, I'm using a blend. That's salt, pepper, garlic powder, garlic salt. So that's mainly what we want to use just to flavor that, enhance the meat. You always want to add a little bit of salt. But this is salt, pepper, and garlic powder in the blend. So I want to make sure I season that liberally because we want that flavor. We want that flavor in our spaghetti. And see here, the meat is almost done, but I do go in every few minutes and I go ahead and turn it, grind it up, mix it up. And this is the meat that's going into the meat sauce. And sometimes you can just make meatballs. People do like meatballs and spaghetti too. I prefer the ground meat personally, but people do love meatballs. I like meatballs, but actually not with my spaghetti. I like them by themselves. All right, my meat is coming almost finished, and you see all that extra juice and some of that fat that has come off the meat. Right here, I drained that off in a little strainer. Next up, I'm grabbing my jar of pasta sauce. As you see, I did want to go ahead and taste the meat right before I added my pasta sauce. Your favorite kind. Remember, there are so many out there on the market. Just pick whatever you like. They have so many kinds. And I didn't say, but this is about 2 pounds of ground beef. So for 2 pounds of ground beef, I'm adding in probably a jar and a half, up to 2 jars. But I go a jar for every pound of meat. So 1 pound, 1 jar, 2 pounds, 1.5 to 2 jars of sauce, depending on how much sauce you like. I don't like a whole bunch. I like just the right amount. So when I start off with 1.5 jars, that remaining half I can add at the end. If others want more sauce, they can add it in. However, now I'm just giving that a good mix. Want to mix the meat, the sauce very well. And I added in 2 different flavors. That's why you might notice they were 2 different colors. So I added, I'm mixing, matching. Like I said, spaghetti is versatile. You can make it like you like it. So adding that sauce into the pot, giving this a mix. This is about a medium heat. I'm going to cook this for about another 15 or 20 minutes while I prepare the pasta, and that's the spaghetti. And as you see, it gets thicker as it cooks. At this point, I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit to low while I start to prepare the pasta. But the sauce is coming along nicely. The kitchen smells great. I smell that garlic flavor. I love it. Back in there giving a nice stir. You see it getting thick. So once that's done, that's the meat sauce. It's almost ready. All right, time to prepare the pasta. I'm actually using thin spaghetti opposed to regular spaghetti, but of course for this meal, you just get a box of regular spaghetti. I don't use the whole box. I use about 3/4 of the box. That's most of it, but not the whole thing. And first things first, I want to go ahead and boil my water. You see I added salt to the water. That's to flavor the pasta. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil. Some people don't agree with this, but it's okay. I like to put a little bit of olive oil in my pasta while it's cooking. So now I'm grabbing my spaghetti, my thin spaghetti, and you'll see that I'm just going to go ahead and place it in the pot. I do break it in half. Hey, they say you're not supposed to do that, but that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm breaking my pasta in my pot, and that's probably just to help it fit. If I used a bigger pot, I could just put it in and it would just kind of cook down. So once again, it's 3/4 of the box of pasta I'm adding. It's a little thinner because, like I said, it's thin spaghetti. But you go ahead and use regular spaghetti or whatever pasta. You don't even have to use spaghetti. You can use rotini. You can use penne. Whatever pasta floats your boat is the one that you use. I'm going to let this pasta cook for about 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and strain all that water off, and it'll be ready to go into the meat sauce. Okay, you see the pasta is coming along. It's thickening up as it cooks. In a few moments, I'll have that consistency that you want it to be. You definitely want your pasta to be what's called al dente. That means it's not overcooked. It's a little bit undercooked because it'll continue to finish cooking once you add it to the meat sauce. So it's called al dente. You don't want to overcook the pasta. So right here is the point where I'm going to strain it. Okay, back to my meat sauce. As you see, it has really thickened up. I just had it sitting over there on low. And right now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add in the spaghetti. And I'm just going to mix it in very well. Sauce looks good. Sauce is completely ready. At this point, I do turn the pot off because it's really done cooking. And I'm just going to mix in my spaghetti very, very well. All right, after giving this a good mix, the spaghetti is basically ready to be enjoyed. Definitely add a vegetable to it, add a side salad to it, and I'm going to add some garlic bread sticks to mine. So definitely want your vegetable. And then you can also have a little bit of garlic bread or garlic sticks. I added some Parmesan on top. Thanks for coming in the kitchen. Thanks for cooking with me today. I showed you how I make spaghetti. Good old traditional spaghetti. See you in the next video. Have a blessed day and a blessed week.